lot we do not understand about time and space and how it works and how it's contained. Jesus knew all about it. And he said that we are in a prison house. Jesus said the matrix is an isolated, totally controlled prison house. And hence, salvation is being actually released or set free from the space-time prison house to an eternal freedom. So, having said that, I want to read something. And this one is interesting. From the Song of Solomon, chapter 2. Now listen carefully to how this is worded, folks. This is really, really interesting. The voice of my beloved, behold, he cometh leaping upon the mountains, skipping upon the hills. My beloved is like a roe or a young hart. Behold, he standeth behind our wall. He looketh forth at the windows, showing himself through the lattice. My beloved spoke. He said unto me, rise up, my love, my fair one, and come away. Well, what is he talking about? Wall, windows, lattice. Well, it's obvious. It's another dimension. He's standing behind the wall. It's a dimensional wall. It's not in the time-space continuum. He's outside of it. That's the wall. If you want to look up the word wall, break in anywhere, Larry, it means to compact a wall as gathering inmates. What did Jesus say we were in? A prison house. Well, what's in a prison house? A gathering of inmates. Do you see what he's talking about? The wall is our time-space continuum. He's looking at it. He's standing behind it. He's in another dimension. And then if you look up the word window, it means exactly what it is. I don't know if I can pronounce it. It's perforated. It's there's holes punched in it. It's a window type thing. It's hard to explain it. And then when you look up the word, lattice, guess what that means, folks? A net. That is, by analogy, a lattice. It's a fishing net. It means to braid, to entangle or to snare, or to catch game in a net. What did Jesus call Peter and the rest of them? Fishermen. Fishermen. Remember the 153 fish? Well, that is a whole story all in of itself. It's about fishing. Who's he fishing for? Men and women. That's who he's fishing for. Jesus said we're in a prison house. He said we're trapped, that we have an overlord, a prison keeper named Satan, the prince and power of the air, which is spirit world, because of the fall. Now, you compare that with the narrow way that leadeth unto life. The human being is constructed in the same way as the temple is. There's an outer court, conscious mind, sanctuary or holy place, that's your unconscious mind. The Holy of Holies, that is where your inner secret heart is. And a lot of people do not realize the Bible teaches emphatically, I wrote an article about it, that mankind has two hearts. The outer heart is your conscious mind, where if I walk up and I ask Larry, what's his name? He's going to say Larry. Well, how does he know that? That's his conscious heart. That's his conscious mind. That's how he knows it. He was named that when he was little. That's all he's been called. That's how he knows it. That's the outer heart. Within is a secret heart that Jeremiah said the heart is desperately wicked, so wicked nobody can know it. That is where this portal, this window, this lattice, this wall is located. That's where it is. Well, Jesus told us over and over again in various ways. You may remember a young man was following Jesus, and his father had died. And he went to Jesus and said, my father died. I want to go to the funeral. And Jesus said, no, let the dead bury their own dead. You come follow me. What's he talking about? Well, way back in Genesis, when mankind fell, they were dead to the living God. That's the whole issue. There is no other issue between man and God. Why are we dead before the living God? Because we lost divine love. A love type we don't know anything about. It has to be revealed. Anyway, so this is how this all works. And it's all done by frequency. When mankind was originally created, he did not have any knowledge of good or evil. A lot of people don't think about that. He didn't need it. They didn't need it. Adam and Eve didn't have it. They didn't have any such knowledge. All they had was divine love because God created them in his image. And then mankind ate of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Remember Satan tempting Eve? Oh, you eat of this and you'll be smart. You'll be a brilliant young lady and you'll know all kinds of things. But Eve said, well, God told me not to eat it. Oh, he didn't mean that. Go ahead and eat it anyway. You misunderstood what he had to say. Well, that same law, yea, hath God said, is still active today. Yea, hath God said. I get that a lot when I talk about the straight gate, narrow way. Yea, hath God said. You bet he did say it. Yeah, he did say it. But Satan doesn't want people to realize it because he doesn't want them to know they are in a frequency matrix. I wrote 2 books on it. Frequency 1 and frequency 2. I'm working on frequency 3. And it's amazing because once you understand what's really going on here, then you can understand why Jesus said everything he said and why he meant everything he said. If you once understand what's really going on here, and it's really amazing. Anyway, this inner heart, people don't know it exists. It's part of the veil that came down over the minds of men when we ate of the knowledge of good and evil. We descended from a high frequency to a lower frequency, and Jesus came into the matrix to bail us out, to get us back to a higher frequency. If people refuse Jesus Christ and they refuse what he said, when they die, they go to an even much lower frequency. Very bad place. And if you go into the New Age and you look at some of their charts and everything, they call it ascension. And of course, that's a New Age lie because Jesus told us, go you to the lowest room and there sit. That's a descent. Go to the lowest room. Descent, not ascension. It's just the opposite. That's why the New Agers are all about this ascension to a higher vibrational frequency. That's the New Age lie, but people are going to go for it. Anyway, I mean, we could go on and on and on, but we manufacture a lot of religions and philosophies and all kinds of concepts rather than face the simple truth of what Jesus said, and it's so simple. And I don't understand why people fight it so much other than our nature. I believe we have DNA memory. And I think the human race, from everything I can find out and have researched, we hate the living God with a passion. It's not conscious. It's totally unconscious because of the fall and the punishment we got. And Satan is livid with humanity. He wants to kill you all, every one of you. And Jesus told you, He wants to kill you all. And anyway, we go on and on and on. I got a lot of other news to talk about, but it's all based on frequency. And when you see this deal in the Song of Solomon about the wall, the dimensional wall, the windows, the lattice, when a person goes down and unlocks the hidden heart, that's where you meet Jesus Christ. That's where you hear his voice. That's where it happens. And I can testify to it myself. I didn't have a clue as to what was really going on. I just knew I was dead, and I knew I was going to hell. I knew it, absolutely knew it. I was going to hell. I didn't know why. I just knew I was going straight to hell. I could get on my knees, and I said, Jesus, come into my heart. Come into my heart. I must have done that a million times. Come into my heart. Nothing. Nothing happened at all. So one day I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm feeling really, really sorry for myself. I had searched for the Lord for years and years. I'd gone through all the major religions, and I knew who Jesus was from the fact of, from a scientific perspective. Science proves who Jesus Christ really is. They just don't know it, but he does. They do. And anyway, I'm sitting there feeling really sorry for myself, and I pick up this little booklet from Jack Van Impe Ministries. This was 40 years ago, more than 40 years, no, 43 years ago. And I opened it up, and the outside cover said, A Call to Love. So I opened it up, and I began to read Corinthians. It's a love chapter, and I'd heard that 1 billion times because I did wedding photography. And that's one of the things they read. They don't know what they're reading. They have no clue as to what that is about. So anyway, I'm reading that, and all of a sudden, I say to myself, you know what? I don't love anybody. I don't love anybody at all. I just love myself. And all of a sudden, I can only describe it as a curtain. You go to a movie and you see the curtains move back and the movie's going to start. That's what it was like. The veil in my mind was totally removed. And I am looking directly into the love of Jesus Christ. I don't know any way, there are no human words to describe it. It's above and beyond any human description. You cannot describe it in human terms. It blows everything out of the water. That's all I can say. It is kind of like the flood of Noah. It just eliminates everything in its path. This love is so deep, so broad, so wide, so profound, there are no words whatever to describe it. And I'm looking into this thing, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, what in the world is this all about? And then a voice came, and I heard it, just like I don't know if I heard it with my ears or how I heard it. It said, Stewart, do you agree that love runs this universe? And after looking at that, I said, oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And he says, Stewart, have you ever loved? And I said, no, sir. No, sir. And he said, will you? And I hesitated. I don't know why people can't believe that I would hesitate, but I did. I hesitated. And I'm thinking, wow, can I do this? I had no fear if I said no, but I knew that if I had said no, it was never going to be offered ever again. I knew it. There was no fear involved, nothing like that, no fear at all. And I finally said, yes, sir. And bang, he came into me, and my life changed and has never been the same ever since. That was my salvation. And when he asked me, have you ever loved? That is the judgment all humanity is going to face. We are going to be all judged. Every human being on this planet is going to be judged by this. I can't even describe this love that he has for his creation. There are no words for it. It is so far above humanity, so far above anything we think we know love is. Our loves are fallen, people. They're manipulative. It's very, very rare they are not. And that's how we're going to be judged. No human being can stand before it. This is why God came into the matrix. This is why Jesus Christ came in here. He knew that all of humanity was born without this love because of the fall. He also knew we were very susceptible to the lies and deceptions of Satan and his demonic hordes and the fallen angels and all of that type of stuff that we call fallen creatures. We're just as fallen as they are. It's just in a different way. And anyway, when that was over, it was over. And my life's never been the same since that time. And when I stop and think about how vast the universe is, and how tiny and dark and sin-filled, rotten little Stewie was and is in the flesh, I find it so amazing and awesome that the God who creates the galaxies, the stars, all the planets, all life, everything, to time out, to come down and visit with me personally, one-on-one. And I didn't know what had happened, so I went. I can't explain it, but the heavens opened up. I was rained upon. That was my baptism. The whole thing was just an amazing, amazing event. And then the earnest came upon me, and I was shown what it was going to be like. That's what an earnest is. It's like the down payment on a house. That proves if you're going to buy a house for $300,000, so you put maybe $10,000 down to prove you're going to follow through. You're going to buy the house. That's what an earnest is. Only the earnest of the Lord is a glimpse of what it's going to be like in the heavenlies, and it goes right back to Adam and Eve before the fall. As in Adam, all die. But in Christ, all are made alive. It's all about love. It's all about divine love. Folks, they're missing the boat. You got preachers, teachers, and evangelists out there that are lying through their teeth about salvation and what it is. They're telling you, say a sinner's prayer. They're telling you the ABCs of salvation. Somebody sent me just the other day the 10 steps to salvation. What a bunch of malarkey and lies it is. It's nowhere in the Scripture. Do what Jesus Christ told you to do. You'll meet him. He is the most gentle, loving. I don't know what to call it. The judgment I went through was so absolutely gentle and loving and meek. The voice is so loving to you. Folks, he loves you with a love you cannot even begin to imagine. He's just waiting for you to come to him through the straight gate, through the narrow way. He says, I give you the power to do it. And yet people say, no, I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that. Not at all. Well, if you don't have to do it, show me the verse where Jesus Christ himself says it doesn't apply to you. You're exempt. I've looked for it. It's not there. These people are lying to you. Oh, they may have great names. They may have thousands and millions of followers. They may run around with big wealth. That's their reward, folks. I guarantee you that's their reward. They're not going to have a reward when they die. When they perish, they're going to wake up to something. I perished. I was dead in my trespasses and sins. I just didn't know why. But when I looked at the love of God, I found out why. I was dead. I knew I was hellbound. I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't a mental thing. It was much, much deeper than that. It was so profound. I couldn't escape it. Even in sleep, I couldn't escape it. I was in hell. I was going to go to hell, and I had no idea why. I wasn't that bad a person, I didn't think. We're rotten. We're rotten to the core. The flesh of all humanity is dead to the living God. And this is what they're all missing. Even the deep state, global deep state, with all their power, all their might, they're nothing. They're going to die, and they're going to be judged by this love of God, and they're going to perish in their sins. They didn't have to. It didn't have to be that way. Jesus told us over and over and over and over and over again how to get saved, and everybody's mocking him. I know. How do I know? Because they get emails. You're just an idiot. You just don't. You don't know what you're talking about. Yes, I do. It's not because I have any brilliance. The only thing I know is what I was told and shown by the Lord Jesus Christ. I wouldn't know anything other than what he has shown me. And frankly, neither would anybody else. The human being doesn't know diddly squat. We just think we do with all our high tech. You haven't seen anything high tech. Wait until you meet Jesus Christ. That's the high tech.